Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news. Billion. It's fake news because it's billion, not million. Billion. Also, J.D. Vance just went on the news and basically confirmed it. So he's saying it's fake news. Talk to your right-hand man. Put out by the Democrats, President Donald J. Trump. You mean J.D. Vance? And you see, yeah, the little trickery here. He's trying to trick you. Sadly, if you import people from the third world countries, you quickly become a third world country. And there's not a thing you can do about it. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. You know what's funny? At the UFC White House card yesterday, how many people walked out to Mexican music? Bomboca! Third world countries. And again, the reason that countries are third world is because you bomb them nonstop. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be more immigrants coming in from Iran, just like they're coming in from Syria, Afghanistan, into England. There's a country that they come into England, the most populated countries, countries with migrants into the UK. It's all countries that have been bombed by the West. And then they complain about them. Also, Trump just went to China and said that he's going to give away, 500,000 visas? Marco Rubio was just on stage with Modi, the Prime Minister of India, saying that Indians can assimilate. So they don't actually care. They don't. They're actively promoting the destruction of this country while pretending to be America first. And then you know what they do? You guys have seen it. Put one in the chat if you've seen it. For me, they say I'm anti-American. They say I'm the one who hates this country. I'm the one who's not a proud patriot because I'm anti-war. But these people who wave the American flag everywhere and host an event called Freedom 250, they're the ones that are publicly contradicting themselves and allowing for third world immigrants to become our new demographic. They're going to come in hordes. They come in hordes because of war. Also, they're on stage saying they're going to bring more immigrants in. They can assimilate. We need to bring the best. But then they need approval, so they'll pretend to be against it. And you guys eat it up like goy slop. And then point at people like me and say, I'm the enemy. You have no idea what you're talking about. The most interesting part to start with is J.D. Vance's response. J.D. Vance, here it is. So, $324 billion going to Iran. Operation Epic Failure. How embarrassing. From saying you're going to wipe their civilization to bending and folding. Iran did it! And giving them $324 billion.
In the agreement, but we'll be releasing the text this week. And what everybody will see is that Iran doesn't get a dime of money unless they perform their obligations. And the money that we're talking about is fundamentally sanctions relief. We're not giving them American money. Not a single dollar of American money will go to Iran.
They're lifting all the sanctions.
But what we are saying, George, is we're willing to give significant sanctions relief if the Iranians make the kind of long-term commitments that are necessary to be a normal country, to give up their nuclear weapons program, to stop funding terrorist activities all over the Middle East. And one of the really interesting things in the agreement, but we'll be releasing the text this week, and what everybody...
There you go. And here he says,
300.
We did a whole media tour about this deal.
Walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide.
So they could get $324 billion if they listen and follow the peace deal. No part of it, freeing Iran, that was abandoned. But the rhetoric they were saying that they were going to wipe that civilization, bomb them out of existence, rain them with all this epic fury, gone. Now they're giving them money. They're allowing them to become wealthy. The entire narrative in the beginning of the war has been abandoned
in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon.
But Marco Rubio just admitted, too, that the world will never investigate Israel's nuclear program. So they didn't say that they're going to get rid of Iran's missiles. They're going to get rid of their enriched uranium. They say it's a 60% nuclear program. nothing was accomplished in this war. This was the same exact talking points last year when the U.S. Started striking Iran.
I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media. They're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
What do they give? Opening up the strait? Open the effing strait! It was open before the war started. It could not be more embarrassing. As an American, we're pretty embarrassed. And we broke some of this down with Riyadh. Here's the Memorandum of Understanding. They call it the MOU. That's how they've been abbreviating it. Phase 1 upon announcement is that both sides will declare an immediate and complete permanent end to all hostilities in the region, including Lebanon. So Lebanon cannot be touched. But what's not included is Gaza. And I need to figure out why that's not included. Maybe they just realized that it was a lost cause. It really is sad to see that, see what's happening to the people there. Free Palestine. And upon announcement of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, the U.S. declares the immediate and complete lifting of the U.S. naval blockade against Iran. So they're going to move away all the ships from blocking that strait, the block on the block. Phase 2, after signing, after 30 days, they confirm its commitment to non-interference in Iran's domestic affairs and respect for the sovereignty of the Islamic Republic of Iran. It will not increase the amount of troops or military assets present in the region. Iran reaffirms its commitment to the NPT, this treaty, and confirms it will never produce or develop a nuclear weapon, while Israel has one. The U.S. declares that it will provide Iran with half of its frozen funds, amounting to a value of $12 billion, to be made available in a non-reversible manner within 30 days, with a commitment to make the remaining half available during the subsequent 60 days. We're paying for this, guys. Upon signing the MOU, the United States will issue sanctions waivers for Iranian oil, gas, and petrochemical exports effective immediately, with a commitment to extend these waivers permanently once a final agreement is reached. And the U.S. will begin immediate consultations with Israel to present a short-term time frame for a full Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon, including points occupied following the 2024 Israel-Hezbollah agreement. Israel did not agree. Israel is very unhappy about this. They have something different to say. And let's listen to the finance minister, Smotrich. He was there at the Israel Day Parade here in New York. He's saying this comes right after the ceasefire. He makes it clear Israel has zero intention of playing along with the Trump brokered agreement and will keep pushing for regime change on its own. They don't want peace. Their end game is they want to eliminate Iran. But if you want to listen to the Hebrew, fine, but just listen. Basically, they don't agree. They want to keep going.
ארצות הברית בהובלתו של הנשיא טראמפ, המערכה המשותפת הזאת נגד איראן הניבה הישגים משמעותיים מאוד. המשטר האיראני נחלש, יכולותיו נפגעו, ההישגים האלה לא ירדו לטמיון. ישראל תמשיך לפעול בכל הכלים העומדים לרשותה.
Now they're framing it, the achievements are that Iran's been weakened.
כדי להפיל את משטר האייתולות הרצחני הזה באיראן.
Now, US is tapping out. Israel is committed to finishing the job.
ולמנוע ממשטר הטרור הזה להפוך למדינת סף גרעינית. שכת.
So they're not going to listen to this agreement. They don't care. Shows you who's in charge. Upon signing the MOU, Iran confirms it will reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial maritime traffic according to certain specified arrangements determined by Iran within 30 days. Here's phase 3. And after 60 days, negotiating period will begin once all the terms of the MOU have been met. We'll see. You got to follow this. And after 60 days, they get another $12 billion. And then in these 60 days, the U.S. will present plans for a reconstruction fund for Iran, amounting to a value of at least $300 billion, funded partially by the Gulf states. Wow. I told you Iran was going to win. I didn't think it was going to be this unanimous. But we'll see. We have to pay attention closely for the next 30 to 60 days. You know what my predictions are. I do think we're going to be dragged back into this. It's going to be clear that Iran, they're going to keep saying that the terrorists, Israel's going to force the hand. And let's see what happens in the next 30 to 60 days. What happened before? The Epstein files released. Remember, they still have that as a card. Let's see. In the next 30 days, as this peace still goes on, and as the terms need to hit 30 days for certain things to happen.
SNEAKO before you became Muslim? And if yes, was it yum yum?
Put it at 20. Let's pay close attention and see if this is actually followed. I think that we're going to be dragged back in, but pay attention. Anybody who doubts who controls this country, this should be what changes your mind. If we go back into this war, it's clear who rules us. If we resume striking Iran, never doubt again who runs the show. There you go. That's the deal. No mention of Gaza, unfortunately. And here's the Iran war by the numbers. $29 billion spent by the U.S. military. $58 billion in Gulf energy infrastructure damaged or destroyed. Global growth slowing from 2.9 to 2.5%. The World Bank downgrading 2/3 of countries. Gas hitting $4 a gallon nationally and $6 in California. 127 ships transited the Strait of Hormuz in the entire 3 weeks between May 18th and June 7th. Before the war, that number was 100 ships per day. 15 Asian countries are now seeking emergency loans. The Philippines declared a national energy emergency and bought Russian oil for the first time in 5 years. I was just in the Philippines. Their dollar, the peso, their currency, it's useless. It's tanking every single day. The Philippines is suffering because of this war. Their currency's never been weaker. It's basically like tender for a fire now. Homeless people can light up a peso in a barrel and get warm. That's what the Iran war has done to the Philippines, unfortunately. And Sri Lanka moved to a 4-day work week. A deal was agreed to yesterday, and the Strait will reopen Friday after it's made official, but the bill for this war will be paid for years to come. And guess who's gonna front that bill? Traffic at the Strait of Hormuz, you can see the hit that Europe faced. Iran launched more than 6,000 strikes on Gulf states during the war. Iran launched 6,000 strikes. They did a good job of covering that up. It seemed like far less based on the videos that were leaked. You would have thought it would have been 100 to 200, but 6,000 strikes in the Gulf states. Also, remember, a lot of these were Mossad false flag attacks. There were Mossad agents arrested in Saudi Arabia with bombs because their goal was to get the Gulf states to hate Iran more. And so they were planning attacks, allegedly, and then blaming it on Iran. Just like the strikes, we saw this on the news. The news was claiming that Iran missile debris was falling right next to Al-Aqsa Mosque. Clearly, they're trying to blame the destruction of Al-Aqsa Mosque on Iran. Here's JD. You guys saying he looks a lot older. Here's the White House fight card yesterday. They're chimping out!
You know what?
America! This is the White House lawn. Like, any lack of... no decorum, no class, just...
Cops.
And imagine if this happened in the Biden administration or the Obama administration, this would be media outrage. But there's so many bad things to think about that this is not going to get coverage. This is like this is embarrassing, bro.
Go to jail, bro. You fucked up.
Hey, he just attacked.
And I saw this. I was just streaming in Times Square, and there were Algerians, Senegalese people there, Argentinians, French, and they weren't acting like this. But people in the chat were saying, "Good, you need to deport them. Get them out. They're brown." Okay, where is that energy when it comes to this? And I have to admit, the UFC card was far more entertaining than this fight.
Get down! Get down! Get down!
I got you, bro. I got you. I saw it.
So here's a report saying that the Strait is reopened, but it seems like it's going to slowly reopen over the next 30 days. There go the ships. Oil. Good old oil. Good old oil. Let's open up again. Here's Ted Cruz. Listen up. He's upset.
Today, more than ever before, the U.S.-Israel alliance and friendship is under assault. It's under assault from forces of the United States that would try to break that friendship. I think that's profoundly dangerous. America is friends with Israel because it is unambiguously in America's national security interest.
No, because they got you on tape on Epstein Island. That's why.
To be friends with Israel.
Allegedly.
Israel is fighting the enemies of America. Every Hamas terrorist that Israel kills, every Hezbollah terrorist, every IRGC terrorist.
You're retarded if you still believe this. What has Hamas done? What has Hezbollah done to affect Americans? Have they ever hit anything on American territory?
Makes America safer. We stand with Israel because standing with Israel makes Americans safer. And when the Ayatollah chants death to Israel and death to America, he means it. And those voices in American politics that want to engage in appeasement are profoundly undermining U.S.
Notice how they keep saying that. They say death to America. They chant death to America. Trump was chanting, we're going to wipe that civilization. Trump was chanting nukes, 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 nukes. How come you don't hear people talk about how this is evil?
national security.
Yeah, no, they're going to stop evil by bombing kids in a school. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. And then people, you know, the cope is like, stuff happens in war.
تفاهم است به این باید اضافه بکنیم مباحث مربوط به اسقاطی‌های مرتبط با فروش نفت ایران.
So here's the IRGC representative saying the United States will immediately lift sanctions on the sale of Iranian oil. Things are back to the way it were. How long do you think it's going to last? Let's see predictions from you guys. How long is peace going to last? How many days? Put a number.
But let me ask you this before you go. Is Israel on board with this? It doesn't appear so at this time. What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
Well, Gail, of course, Israel's been a good partner, but we do expect everybody in the region. They've been participating in this peace agreement. They've been participating in our talks with Iran. They understand where our perspective is. And what the president has said is that we expect everybody to honor this agreement. There are always, Gail, these bumpy moments with these ceasefires. Sometimes someone will fire and sometimes somebody responds.
Bumpy moments is killing children. It's not a rocky moment. It's like these ceasefires, just some... It's like hearing a domestic abuse victim justify their abuser. It's rocky moments in a relationship. No, bombing kids is not a bumpy road. It's evil.
We think right now that there are probably people within Iran, because the internet blackout, that are not even aware that this deal has happened. So we certainly expect the Israelis are going to be a participant in this peace process, but we think it's going to be good for them. It's going to be good for us. It's going to be good for the Gulf Coast Coalition. And Gail, if the Iranians comply with their end of the bargain, it's going to be good for Iran. It's going to totally change their relationship with the region in a way that will generate a lot of prosperity for their people. But again, only if they meet their end of the bargain.
All right, we'll see what happens on Friday. A lot of people are saying, why don't we sign it today? But you say Friday's the day. We'll all be watching.
Friday's the day. Let's see. Is there some specific holiday? What is this Friday? Let's see. Friday date. Let's see. It's always coincided with Eid and Ramadan. Okay, so it's June 19th. Let's see. Let's schizo for a second. June 19th, holiday. How embarrassing that this is happening while we're the host nation for the World Cup. To the world, I really am ashamed of our country that this is what we're doing, hosting the World's event. It's Juneteenth. What? Interesting. Juneteenth. Any other holidays? This is the slavery commemoration holiday.
Well, we thank you, J.D. Vance, for your time this morning.
Okay. And here's Trump coping about the war.
Further. What? Will you send your team to Moscow to negotiate further now that you've gone? Well, I would do it. If I thought it would help, I'd do it. I'd love to see that war end. I've settled 8 wars and actually 9, and now it looks like we could have 10, but I would love to make that the 10th.
How embarrassing. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize so bad. I stopped the war. You also started it, dummy. What? I stopped the war. I should get a peace prize. You joined this war. You started it. Rubio said that they attacked preemptively to prevent an attack from Iran. Rubio said, we joined this war to support Israel. They pose no imminent threat on American soil. They admitted this. Then they're like, I'm a peacemaker. What does Allah say in the Quran? That they claim to be peacemakers while spreading corruption in the land. Exactly what he's repeating right here. And Surah Baqarah, when they are told, do not spread corruption in the land, they reply, we are only peacemakers. Indeed, it is they who are the corruptors, but they fail to perceive it.
Only talking about peace, right, and stopped at the request of Pakistan, Trump said.
Only talking about peace, right, and stopped at the request of Pakistan. Yeah, they made it clear that their next targets are Pakistan and Turkey. So it's not peace, not to be pessimistic. It's just waiting until the next one. It's forever war. This is what the economy is based on.
I will tell you, I would love to see an end between Russia and Ukraine. That were 25,000 young soldiers were killed last month, and it's on average 25 to 30,000 soldiers a month. It's a terrible war. Terrible. What?
What? And remember too, because they're like, oh man, they're killing people. Remember the people, the victims of the Minab school shooting. Don't look away. The school bombing.
The US and Israel hit targets
away.
across the country. Missiles traveling at hundreds of miles an hour were headed here.
I was calling my son's name. I still believed he might be alive. And I kept searching for him. I was shouting, Seper, Seper, my son, where are you?
Before this was rubble, before this was a bomb site, it was a primary school in Minab, on Iran's southern coast. It was a Saturday, the start of the school week. Children in class, teachers at work. No warning that they would become part of the war. In Tehran, the operation began before dawn, with several explosions reported in and around the capital. But that message hadn't reached parents in Minab, who were just getting their children dressed and ready for school. Children like Adrina Pega, who was in the first year. Her father spoke to Sky News.
I sit with myself and think about her, about the moments we shared. We'd go play basketball whenever we could.
This was intentional. They hit a school on purpose. It was a double tap Tomahawk missile. They hit it twice. They knew what they were doing. You don't accidentally hit a school. Anybody who says that is coping. So let's think about this. Break down why this happened. Do you remember right before the war started, it became clear that this was going to happen? Do you remember the burning ball? You know what this is? So this is leading up to the war, and it became clear it was going to happen. The Muslims in Iran knew this, and they burned a ball statue. How did the U.S. start this war? On the first day, Operation Epic Fury, they bombed a school, and they killed 168 kids. Baal is worshipped by child sacrifice. It's a Canaanite god. This is Israelite god. It's a demon god that you worship through sacrificing children. This is not spoken about a lot. I think people are afraid of being called schizophrenic, but you know how this god is worshipped. And also, you know that the U.S. intentionally hit that school. I think it goes a lot deeper than many people care to speak about. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I think that attack was an offering to Baal. Trump says himself all the time he doesn't think he's going to make it to heaven. These demon gods that they worship, these pagan gods, give you power and money, dunya, in this life. And they know that they're trading the afterlife for power in this world. Trump says, I don't think I'm going to make it to heaven. This is who they worship. They know they don't worship God. They know that they're spreading falsehood. They know that they want to become gods on earth. So how do they offer a sacrifice? How do they worship their God? A double tap missile. And how do you get away with it? Through the justification of war. That guy Dave Rubin just did a debate on Jubilee, and when they were pressing him on supporting the Iran war, said they killed all these kids in a school. He's like, stuff happens in war. Although I like Osmongold, he said the same thing. He's like, yes, stuff happens in war. They don't care. They don't care. They made it clear. They think it's okay because it's wartime. Imagine if the situation was reversed. Would the narrative be the same? The Iranians, they seemed to know what was coming. I wish we could do this in America. We can. We should actually just do this in America. Remember those children.
This was part of our everyday life. This is a school that was attacked. Once my daughter's school bag was full of colored pencils and books. Now all I have is a burned bag in my hands.
Rest in peace. May Allah grant them paradise. Again, now the number of people killed in Israel's genocide in Gaza, predominantly women and children, is at 73,000. 73,000. It keeps on going up. And the reason you don't hear about this much anymore is because they killed all the journalists. There are some left, but the prominent journalists that have been reporting since October 7th, they're dead. Some World Cup stuff. I don't want to cover this now. No top boy. And here's Trump speaking about the peace deal with Macron. He was originally very upset at NATO. Let's see how his relationship with Macron is now.
Incredible evenings in the history of the White House. We had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you, because in the heavyweight division, a French fighter won. I don't know, is that...
He's talking about the UFC White House. So he's talking about the UFC.
Maybe more important than the World Cup to some people. It might be.
And he thinks the UFC White House card is more important than the World Cup, bro. You know why? It's not because of status. It's not because of anything historical. It's because he gets promoted at the UFC White House. He gets promoted. They shill for him at the UFC. That's why he thinks it's better. Because they glaze him. Because people kiss his hand. Because they go and hug him and everything. And everybody has to go kiss his ring in order to even fight there. If you don't, if you criticize Trump, you get arrested like Sean Strickland. That's why I think it's more important than the World Cup. They are doing a horrendous job at being the host nation. I haven't seen him talk about it once. This is the first time I even heard him say World Cup. I'm embarrassed, man. I'm embarrassed.
Incredible evenings in the history.
Incredible evening. So let's see what is MAGA saying about this peace deal?
Wow. Pakistan, U.S. and Iran eventually peace deal. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, Juneteenth can be repurposed in May to an actual holiday. Well, Juneteenth is a real holiday. It was Emancipation Day for the slaves. That's a big deal, man. Like, that's a really big deal. Like, what are you talking about? And it might already be over. Wait. No. Netanyahu informed Trump that Israel will not pull IDF forces from Lebanon and does not consider itself bound by the Lebanon clause in the U.S.-Iran agreement.
So he hears about peace and then he starts laughing because Israel wants war.
Amen. Okay, you know what? Like, the thing is, this has always been my stance on this. You can never negotiate with these fucks. You just go in there, you bomb the shit out of them, and you leave them. If they want to kill each other afterwards, go ahead, be my guest. But the amount of, like, why are we trying to micromanage Israel? Yeah, why are we doing this, base, baby? Yeah, I think you should keep bombing them, by the way.
Someone in the chat said based BB, bro. He said, I think we should keep bombing them. Does he mean Israel or America? Because America's publicly saying they tapped out.
I think Israel should keep bombing Lebanon because Lebanon has terrorists in it. They have Hezbollah in it. And
does he know why Hezbollah was created? 1982, Israel launched an illegal invasion into Lebanon. Illegally there. Hezbollah was the group of resistance fighters that ended up kicking them out in 2000. Israel caused and literally started Hezbollah. That's the name. It just has a name now, and I doubt he even knows what it means. Most people don't. But it was started because Israel illegally invaded Lebanon. And then they're like, oh, we need to kill these terrorists. You created them.
Like, again, they're firing rockets into Israel. They are. They're firing rockets into. I hope he kills every single fucking one of the Hezbollah members in Lebanon. Every single fucking one. And only then.
So he's shilling for Bibi Netanyahu now. This is where we're at. Telling Bibi Netanyahu, yes, more war. Now there's a peace deal on the table. American economy can recover a little bit from this disastrous war. And Oswald's saying, Bibi, more war? He's not even the primate. This is a foreign leader. They've tricked so many people to think that Western civilization is together, that Israel and America are one and the same, and people are starting to buy it. You know, Hezbollah means party of God. Many people don't know this. They just say, oh, evil terrorists, party of God, because wouldn't you want to kick out illegal invaders? It is funny, too, when you see from MAGA people, they're like, we need to go and kick out the illegal aliens. You need to protect your land. from people coming in and invading. That's exactly what the Lebanese did. Foreign invaders, illegal aliens, came in and they ended up kicking them out. Now you call them terrorists and you want them bombed. So then, if you think defending your own land from illegal invaders is wrong, you can't also complain when your demographic is being replaced. You can't also complain when immigrants come into your country. Because the Lebanese are doing exactly what people on the right in the MAGA movement claim to want to do. Deport every illegal. Kick out the foreign invaders.
Well, the people there have peace. That's good. Yeah, and never negotiate with terrorists. Exactly. Lebanon's a semi-Western country. It is. It's disappointing that they're being taken over by these freaks. So, yeah, that's it. Remember the pager attacks? I do. APAC funded. Right. Yeah. And, again, like it's Israel. Israel's so bad. These people are trying to blow you up too, bro. Like, that's it. And we can't have Lebanon looking like Gaza by the end of this, though. That's not my problem. Like, what they do over in the Middle East, like whatever they want to blow up, whatever they don't want to blow up, it's not
my problem. But it's our money. But we're involved. But they control us. But they have the biggest lobby in this country. They're the most influential. But it's humanity. It's even beyond this, like, oh, I don't care, it's far away. This is the American ignorance that so many people purport. This idea that it's far away, so I don't care, because the wars always happen far away, and they never really hit us here. So, like, yeah, just okay, bombs are fine. Bombs are fine. We have superior Western civilization. It's okay if, people get genocided. I don't care, it's far away. But they actually do care because they're encouraging it. They're saying this is good. We want genocide, but people point out the bad parts. I don't care, it's far away. And I see people saying, oh, you only care about this because they're Muslim. No, the people of Lebanon, they're really mixed. Osmongold right here is literally encouraging Bibi Netanyahu to massacre Christians in Lebanon. Do you know how many Christians are there? I've been to Beirut. I've been to Dahi. I've seen the beautiful church they have. Osmongold here, he is not Christian, but he does have a majority Christian audience. He's encouraging the Jewish dictator of Israel to go and massacre those Christians, wipe out villages. They've been hitting suburbs. They've barely been getting Hezbollah. They're just killing civilians. They're wiping infrastructure. So many of them are Christian. But because it's far away, people don't see them as the same.
Not my fucking problem. I don't care. I just don't want to have any terrorists. That's it. That's the only thing that affects me as an American. I
don't know if he can define terrorism. I say this all the time. The definition of terrorism is violence committed for religious or political gain. So Israel is a Jewish religious ethno-state, right? That's what they claim to be, even though so many of them are secular and hardly even practicing. They commit terrorist acts all the time. Everything they do is a terrorist act. Violence for political or religious gain. This is exactly what they've been doing nonstop since their inception. But they don't call them terrorists because they think terrorist is brown. If you tell people at the MAGA right, if you tell Americans to describe a terrorist, to visualize it, they're immediately going to think the same thing that you're thinking right now. The CIA ISIS beheading videos. Oh, no. People dressed up pretending to be Arabs.
Like there are no terror cells in the Middle East. Everything else is secondary to that. So that's the goal. That's what matters.
Here's Netanyahu talking about it. So yeah, Bibi should nuke them all, says Osmongold. What did Bibi say?
ממשלת ישראל. אנחנו הרבה פעמים רואים עין בעין, ויש גם מקרים שאנחנו רואים פחות עין בעין.
Is there a translator?
אני אחראי לאינטרסים הביטחוניים של ישראל, אני עומד עליהם, ואני רוצה להגיד לך איך עומדים עליהם. צריך לעמוד עליהם, לא בהתלהמות, לעשות את זה בתבונה, וזה דורש הרבה ניסיון והרבה תבונה, והרבה היכרות עם הזירה האמריקנית.
I'm responsible for Israel's security interests.
זה דורש הרבה ניסיון. אני חושב שאני עושה את זה על הצד הטוב ביותר, וכשצריך, אני עומד...
Regulated? Why are they trying to regulate me? I'm going to keep on bombing as long as I want. Trump wants to regulate me, I'll regulate you. You can't regulate me killing civilians. I need to go give my sacrifice to Baal. Don't regulate my demon child sacrifice to the pagan god of Baal.
איתן על האינטרסים הביטחוניים שלנו, ממשלת ישראל. אנחנו הרבה פעמים...
They're publicly saying, yeah, we disagree. We disagree. There was a leaked Israel Telegram channel with 180K members. Look at him saying, They're speaking in Hebrew. I think some of it's translated. Why is this agreement a strategic disaster? Trump is giving the Iranians quite a lot and getting nothing in return.
Indian-backed Afghan terror is taking the lives of many innocent Pakistanis every day.
That's horrible. 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 And best believe it's coming up next. Turkey, Pakistan. W Pakistan. We stand with the people of Pakistan. Surprised that's not getting much coverage. I haven't heard about that extensively. Trump is giving the Iranians quite a lot. The most absurd thing is that this war ends with the relief and sanctions for oil sales, something that did not exist before the war. Iran is benefiting economically because of this war. What do Americans get? Nothing. No nuclear, no ballistic, no proxy. Stein. They're seething. They're mad. Look at them now. God will curse Trump because there's a peace deal on the table. It is strange to an illogical degree. They're saying rehabilitation of the scumbags sold us out for nothing. The first war in Israel's history that we lost, and the longest, the absolute victory. How do they know what is in the agreement if it has not been officially published? Listen, he must leave the United States and move to the Chinese. This is what is called losing a war. We have to admit the facts. The Iranians taught great America a lesson. Thank you for the 10 subs, Mikey Brecht. I appreciate you, bro. My guy. And Israel can only watch from the sidelines. Hopefully in 10 years, we'll be dependent only on ourselves and not on American idiots. Look at them now. The Israelis are saying that they're dependent on American idiots. They think you're dumb Goyim idiots. Taking all your money, resources, and the lives of troops. If Bibi's not in power, then there probably is a problem that he has a voter base like Shas once did. Everyone votes like zombies. So they're really upset. It's our greatest enemy. If we had any balls, we would declare war on Israel. You know that, right? If we had any sort of balls, listening to what their foreign minister is saying, what their prime minister is saying, listening to how they're disobeying from their greatest ally, the proposition of peace, this is who you declare war on. The people saying that these are idiots and that, oh, we don't need to rely on you anymore, while never providing us any troops, even in the Iraq war that Netanyahu begged America to join. This is clearly the enemy. If we were really in charge, if we were really the world's empire that dictated everything, we would declare war on this parasite. Instead of joining all these wars that have done nothing but destroy our empire, the Iran war was disastrous. Reputationally, economically, and also the power in the Middle East that has been erased. All the military base is gone. 6,000 strikes that Iran hit in the GCC, all gone. This war was a disaster. Nothing was gained at all. Not only that, $324 billion go to Iran. Sanctions lifted. It's giving Iran more power than Obama's JCPOA. If we had any balls, this is who we would declare war on. So that's the overall coverage. That's the peace deal. Hope that was informational. Hope that covered it. If you guys did not yet know about this, let's stay focused for the next 30 to 60 days and see what happens.